in this video, we are going to make your very own custom tea blend together. Hi, I'm Herbalist Sam, and you might already know that because you're a client of mine and you have all of the herbs that we created for our custom tea blend together for you, specific to you and your situation. So you might have your teas in front of you, excellent, or you might just be somebody that's interested in making tea blends and this is a place to get started. Either way, I think that's great, and let's make a tea blend together. So today I'm going to make a tea blend with Tulsi, which is holy basil, Damiana, linden, and St. John's wort. When making tea blends, we typically measure everything by parts. And we do this so we're able to make as small of a batch as possible, or a giant batch, or anything in between. And so having the measurement as parts, it gives us that flexibility to create any size batch we want. So what I'm going to use today as a part is 1 tablespoon. And the reason why I'm doing that is because it's the first time I'm making this blend. And so it's always a good idea to start with a very small batch. From personal experience, I have made bigger batches for a first time blend, and that is never recommended because maybe you don't like the blend and then you're stuck with this giant tea blend where you not only have wasted money because now all of these herbs are in a blend that you don't love, and now you have this giant blend that you need to get through or that you want to get through. So just learn from my mistakes and start with a small blend, or start with a small batch, because then you can adjust everything by taste and make sure that you actually like it and you're going to drink it, so you're not stuck with a giant batch of something that you don't want to drink. So that's why we're going to start with 1 tablespoon as 1 part today. Okay, so in my blend, I have 1 part Tulsi, 1 part Damiana, 2 parts linden, and a half a part St. John's wort. So I have 1 tablespoon, and we're going to start with 1 part Tulsi. Okay, so I have 1 tablespoon Tulsi that I'm going to put in my bowl. Wow, that smells so good. I love Tulsi. It's so aromatic. And if you are a client of mine, there is a pretty good chance that Tulsi is in your blend because I just love Tulsi. All right, and then we have 1 part Damiana, which is 1 tablespoon in this case. Also aromatic, but in a really different way. I love it. Okay. And then our next is linden, and we have 2 parts linden. So because I have 1 part as a tablespoon, I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of linden because that would be 2 parts. So 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 2 parts. And I also have a half a part of St. John's wort. And so because 1 part is 1 tablespoon, a half a part in this case will be a half a tablespoon. So got my half a tablespoon. St. John's wort. This is not a video about herbs themselves, but I'm always just going to throw this out there when I talk about St. John's wort. If you're on any pharmaceutical drugs, stay away from St. John's wort unless you're working with a clinical herbalist or somebody that's trained in herb-drug interactions, and then they tell you that St. John's wort is safe with the medications that you're taking. But if you're not, then just it's a good rule: no St. John's wort if you're on pharmaceuticals. All right. So now I have all of my herbs in the bowl. It's a pretty small amount of herbs for the size bowl that I chose. That's not by accident. Choose a bowl that's much bigger than the amount of herbs that are going to be in the bowl, because it is super annoying to have your herbs be up to here in whatever bowl you're using, and then you're not able to mix it around and blend it. You're going to end up transferring it to a bigger bowl anyway. So just start with a big bowl, no matter the size, because it's just a better, easier way to do it. So now I'm gonna just mix everything up in this bowl, make sure that it's blended throughout. I like all the colors, and it really does smell really nice. All right, so it's blended. Here you go. Hopefully you can see that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to make a test batch of tea and see if I like the blend. So I'm going to make the tea blend, and how to make tea will be in another video. I'll link it somewhere below so that you could follow those instructions as well. And so what you're going to do is you're going to test out the blend. What I would make sure is make the tea as you normally would, but let it cool before you really make any decisions, because tea can taste different, you know, when it's super hot and then when it cools down. So you want to make sure that you actually like the blend before you make a bigger batch, because you'll be more sure that way. So let it cool down and drink it at different temperatures. Next, what you're going to do is you'll make a little bit bigger of a batch. So what you might want to do is, I don't know, your one part could be a quarter of a cup, and that could be the next blend, batch blend you make. So one part could be a quarter of a cup. So that example would be a quarter of a cup would be 1 part Tulsi, a quarter of a cup would be 1 part Damiana, and then 2/4 or a half a cup would be 2 parts linden, because it would be 2 quarters, and then a half a part of St. John's wort would be 1/8 of a cup. And then you could make that blend, and then it'll be a larger blend that'll last you, I don't know, depending on how many herbs are in your blend, it could last you a couple days to a week. And then you could drink that consistently, make sure that you still like it, that it doesn't need any other adjustments. And if at that point you say, okay, yes, I really like this blend, I'm going to keep on drinking it, no further adjustments need to be made, then you can make even a bigger batch. So then you need to blend things less often. And then you could even have 1 part be 1 cup. Let's just do the math one more time. 1 part would be 1 cup of Tulsi, 1 part Damiana would be 1 cup of Damiana, 2 parts linden would be 2 cups of linden, and a half a part of St. John's wort would be a half of a cup. And you could do that based on whatever size you want your part to be. Good. If you do make your tea blend and you realize, hey, I don't love this, or I just don't know if will drink this every day, or maybe there's some ginger in there and it's too warming, or there's some ginger in there but you want some more, it's not warming enough, then you could mess around a little bit with those proportions. You could either do that on your own, or if you're a client of mine, you could always reach out to me and we can play around with those proportions together. So that's where you can make some movement if you don't like your tea blend, or you can replace one herb for another as well. Great. So now you have your very own tea blend. I look forward to trying this one in the next video, where we're going to make our tea and see how we like it. So great. If you have any questions, please reach out. If you're interested in making your own tea blends, or if you want a custom tea blend specific to you or your situation or any health goals you may have, then you can always make an appointment with me for your very own herbal consultation. And happy tea drinking. Cheers.